I'm here in Chicago, Illinois at Motorola headquarters, and I'm holding the brand new Moto G budget phones. This is the Moto G Power. It has a big battery. And this is the Moto G Stylus, and it has a stylus. Let's take a look. Dear Mom, it's really cold in Chicago. Why didn't I bring a coat? I'm back at the hotel, and I gotta say, it's a pretty good day to want an affordable phone. The Moto G family has a history of, well, finding that sweet spot, that balance between well-considered necessities and an affordable price. In the past few years, we've seen the Moto G5 Plus, the Moto G6, and the Moto G7, and they've all shown us, well, just how nice a budget phone can be. But this landscape is getting a little more crowded. Last year, Google released the Pixel 3a and 3a XL. This year, there are rumors that Apple might launch a budget iPhone called the iPhone 9 or iPhone SE2. Look, all this is to say, it's important that Motorola keeps pushing the G line forward. Today, I think they took a significant step forward by launching two new phones, the Moto G Power and the Moto G Stylus. And I got to play with both for a few hours today, and it's pretty obvious there's a lot of similarities between the two. So let's start there. First, Motorola is getting rid of the generational number naming, at least in the US. So there's not a Moto G8, but there's also not just a plain Moto G. Both phones have a 6.4-inch full HD screen. And it's similar to what we saw on last year's Samsung Galaxy phones. Like, there isn't a notch, instead there's a punch hole display with a selfie camera. I cannot wait to see what custom wallpapers people make for these Moto G phones. Power-wise, each has a Snapdragon 655 processor, 4 gigabytes of RAM, and both run Android 10 with Motorola's thoughtful extra touches. Oh hey, there's a new gaming mode called Moto Game Time that limits distractions, so it makes it a little bit better gaming experience when you're on your phone. And yeah, they both have a headphone jack. On the back is a fingerprint sensor, and on the front, each has a 16 megapixel selfie camera. But here's where there are some differences. The most obvious is the Moto G Stylus has, well, a stylus. It's on the bottom right corner, it hooks easily open and can only fit in one way, so no worries about getting it stuck in your phone. Unlike the S Pen on the Galaxy Note 10, the Moto Stylus doesn't have Bluetooth. When you pull the stylus out, you can set it to trigger open a note app for drawing without unlocking your phone, or have a stylus menu appear with shortcuts. The Notes app is pretty basic, but you can create drawings, write notes, or just doodle. For years, Motorola has had a camera feature called Cinemagraph, which allows you to record a video, then choose parts of it to remain static. If you've ever been on Instagram, you've seen ads that do something similar. You can use the stylus to shade out parts of the video with much more precision than just using your finger. The forecast is 100% snow and 0% movement from Patrick. The stylus can also be used to navigate the phone, and I hope to see Motorola and developers create other fun, unique ways to use the stylus. Though, sometimes it's just fun to be creative, or whatever the heck I drew here. Okay, you know what's interesting is there's only a few phones out there that have a built-in stylus. Obviously, one of them is the Galaxy Note 10, but that thing costs like more than 3 times as much as this Moto phone. Then there's last year's LG Stylo 5. That actually cost the same amount, $300. But let's talk about cameras. The Moto G Stylus has a triple rear camera. It's a $300 phone with a triple rear camera. That's crazy. There's a 48 megapixel main camera, which combines 4 pixels to create a 12 megapixel photo, a lot of pixels, a 16 megapixel ultra wide action camera. Ooh, and this is kind of cool. The third camera is a macro camera, and you can get ridiculously close to your subject, like 2 centimeters away. The Moto G Stylus comes with a 128 gigabytes of storage, though you can expand it up to 512 with a micro SD card. It also has a 4,000 milliamp hour battery, which Motorola claims on a single charge can last you 2 days of regular use. Pretty impressive. But if that's not impressive enough and you want more battery, you're gonna get the Moto G Power. It's the follow-up to last year's Moto G7 Power, and the new G Power comes with a 5,000 milliamp hour battery, which Motorola claims on a single charge will last you 3 days of regular use. Serious wow. The Moto G Power also has a triple rear camera, but it only costs $250. That's really crazy. There's a 16 megapixel main camera, an 8 megapixel ultra wide camera, and a built-in macro camera. Obviously, not all cameras are created equal, and more cameras doesn't necessarily mean better photos. The Moto G Power costs $250, comes with 64 gigabytes of storage, but you can add a micro SD card up to 512 additional gigabytes. Both phones will be available later this spring, and we look forward to testing the cameras out, the battery out, and that darn stylus. Hey, for more information about both these phones, check out my first look article on cnet.com. Also, if you're ever in Chicago, bring a coat and don't have friends who throw snow at your face. Marta, you were just so mean to me. Why did you do that?